Well, welcome back to See Mini Mom, and welcome back to not my kitchen. We are actually in a beautiful house here in Broken Bow, USA for the Thanksgiving week, and I thought that I would share with you a meal that will feed a large family, so stay tuned. When it comes to the holidays, I know that we often think about those flagship meals, you know, the turkey dinner or the Christmas brunch or something that we might spend a little extra money on, a little extra time that we might think about whenever we're preparing. But if we are entertaining family for the holidays, we have lots of meals that we have to make for sometimes a, fairly large crowd, more people than we would normally cook for. So I thought it would be fun to create a video where I show you a recipe that is not just your typical lasagna or taco soup or chili or something like that, and just bake something a little bit different. I am attempting this night to recreate a meal that my Aunt Barb used to make whenever we had our families together. I grew up in a family with 5 children, so there were 7 of us, and then my Aunt Barb had 3 children and her husband, so there were 12 of us whenever we all got together, and I'm actually feeding 12 people tonight. So I thought I would show you my Aunt Barb's mastichioli that I'm trying to recreate. It should feed 12 people, and I only spent about 12 bucks at Aldi, so here we go. So here we are in Aldi, and I thought I would show you some of the things that I'm picking up and the prices. I know that the prices might vary according to where you live, but these are the prices where I live here in Tulsa. And I picked up a couple of cans of condensed tomato soup, and then I got a couple boxes of this penne, which is not the exact kind of pasta that my aunt used, but it's close. And I picked up 1 packet of Italian salad dressing mix, a couple of cans of tomato sauce, and a couple of cans of just regular diced tomatoes. I wish they had petite diced tomatoes, but they didn't. They just had the regular ones, so that's what I got. And for a veggie to go with this, we're gonna do some green beans. So I'm picking up just some frozen green beans. I ended up with 3 packages of that. And the secret ingredient for my aunt's recipe, or maybe it's not that secret, is chili. So I wandered around the store and finally found a can of chili to put in this recipe, and a 1-pound package of ground beef, which I actually found in the frozen section at Aldi because the fresh ones are at least 2 pounds. And then I'm of course picking up something to make the best garlic toast ever, which is from Hamburger Buns for me, so I got a couple of packages of those as well. So that's what I ended up with from Aldi. You can see it all right here, and actually my total was just under 12 bucks, which I think is pretty good considering the fact that this is going to feed quite a lot of people. I was hoping that they would have rigatoni pasta, but the penne is really close, and what my aunt used would have been closer to like a rigatoni style pasta. And she also would have used a brick of chili, which you can find in these parts in like the refrigerated section, but I wasn't sure that that wasn't a regional thing, so I just went with a can of chili. And here are some of the things that we already had on hand that I'm using. I have an onion, some garlic, Parmesan cheese is optional, but we're gonna use a little bit, some butter, and then in that little container is 2 teaspoons of oregano and a teaspoon of garlic powder, but that's what we already had on hand that I'm going to use in this recipe. And we're going to do the cooking portion of this video voiceover style as well because it was super loud in our house and I didn't want to be the curmudgeon mom yelling at my kids to be quiet when we're on vacation. So I was so excited that our property had a crock pot because I didn't bring one and I really wanted to make these green beans in the crock pot. So I am just going to dump all 3 of the green bean packages that I purchased into the crock pot, and then I am going to sprinkle on the Italian dressing mix that you saw me purchase from Aldi, and I'm going to add probably about a 1/4 cup of water, and I'm also going to put in a couple tablespoons of butter. You don't have to do the butter, I just think it really helps with the flavor. You can do this on the stove as well. I just think it's easy to do it in the crock pot, and it kind of gives it that slow cooked feel. I think it helps sort of marinate all the flavors in there, but you do want to get that going a couple hours in advance, and I went ahead and let mine cook for a couple hours on high and just stirred it occasionally. And while that is cooking, I'm going to get started on the pasta. And of course, this is going to start with garlic and onions. I'm just going to chop those up. I feel like chopped onions and garlic with any recipe just add a lot of flavor. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It typically is something that you're going to have, in your refrigerator and your veggie crisper already, especially if you're a person who, cooks fairly often. So I'm just giving this onion a fine chop, as fine as I can get it, and then I don't have my garlic press, so I'm just mincing my garlic as small as I can, and I'm going to put that into the pot while the ground beef is browning. So I'm just going to brown all of those together, and then the fat from the ground beef as it renders will help cook the onions and the garlic as well. And I did half the meat in this recipe. I just didn't feel like we needed all of the meat, so I only did 1 pound. My aunt's original recipe calls for 2 pounds. You can be the judge of how much meat you want to put in your recipe, but I'm just using 1 pound for this recipe. recipe plus what's in the chili that I bought. Once the meat is browned with the onions and garlic, it's just a matter of opening all the cans and pouring them into the pot along with the seasonings to simmer. So it's 2 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce, 2 small cans of condensed tomato soup, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and then of course the can of chili, which like I said, my aunt used to use a brick of chili, but that was not available in Aldi, so we're just using the can of chili. And I know that seems really odd, but it's kind of what gives this dish a little bit of a different flavor from just your traditional pasta dish. I like that it doesn't taste, you know, like spaghetti, and I feel like that's sort of a go-to meal whenever we're feeding a crowd, and this is just a way to do something like that, but have it be different. Now, I made the mistake of adding water, and my sauce was too soupy. And there's my seasonings going in, as you can see. But the water was actually not part of my aunt's original recipe. I just did not read the recipe correctly, so that's not on my aunt, that's my fault. But I did add 2 cans of water, and then I brought this to kind of a low simmer, and I let it simmer for about 45 minutes or so. And I went ahead and cooked my pasta to al dente, and then I added it to my sauce directly instead of serving them separately, and that's how I was able to remedy the issue with the sauce being a little too soupy. So I just kind of undercooked the pasta a tad, and I let it finish cooking in the sauce. So there you see I have a big giant pot of pasta that's going to feed a lot of people. And doesn't that look good? I just think that looks really, really good. Of course, while all of this is going on, we're breaking into my wine advent calendar from Aldi that I got a few weeks back. We don't save this for Christmas. We think it's fun if we're with, you know, a group of people for Thanksgiving, just to kind of pull them all out at the same time, and everybody can sample different ones over the course of several days. And to go along with this, while we were waiting on dinner, we were kind of snacking on the cheese calendar as well, so we could try different kinds of cheeses. Now I am just putting together the garlic toast, and this is the easiest, cheapest, most amazingest, deliciousest garlic toast ever. And all I'm using are hamburger buns. Here I got 2 packages of hamburger buns. When I split them in half, it's actually going to make for 32 pieces of toast. So I'm just putting those on a couple of cooking sheets. These were pizza pans. It's what I found in the little kitchen we were at. I melt the butter in the microwave and then use a basting brush to brush it on, and then I sprinkle it with a little bit of garlic powder or garlic salt. They happen to have garlic powder in that kitchen, so I went ahead and used that. And I also sprinkled just a little bit of Parmesan cheese on it as well. And then I will cook these in an oven on broil. I will put the broiler on high, and I will put them under the broiler for about 1 to 2 minutes. You have to be very careful because it will burn very, very quickly if you aren't careful. But it comes out perfect every time whenever I don't overcook them. It's just really soft, fluffy bread, but with a crusty top and crusty edges. And you really don't have to use a ton of butter if you baste it on that way. But here it is all piled up on one plate, and like I said, this made 32 pieces of garlic toast, and feeding 12 people, that means that several people could even have 3 pieces. So I'm just checking on my green beans, and they turned out great. Just really simple, easy way to cook them, and I really didn't have to worry about them once I put them into the crock pot, but they're cooked and flavorful and ready to go. And now it's just time for everybody to enjoy the dinner. So I just laid it all out on the counter and let everybody serve themselves, and everybody really liked this. It was kid-friendly. It was something, you know, easy for us that wasn't gonna, you know, keep us in the kitchen for hours and hours, because of course the next day we were going to start to prepare a really nice Thanksgiving meal. But this did make a lot. In fact, I still had a few helpings left over after everybody ate that we reheated the next day for lunches while we were there all together in the house. And here you see everybody enjoying it. We had a great time. And of course, the most popular item was the garlic toast. You guys, it was all gone. 32 pieces of garlic toast completely gone at the end of the meal. Hey you guys, so I'm just in the process of finishing up editing this video, and I wanted to hop on here and tell you about an opportunity. I have decided to host a $5 dinner open playlist collab. So here's how this works. If you have a channel, you make a video of you preparing a $5 dinner. You can shop at any store you want to use, but show us what you purchased, tell us how much you paid, and then make your meal and tell us how you are making it. Feel free to use some generic spices and maybe some condiments that are common to a family kitchen, but try to keep it mostly to the things that you purchased for your $5 dinner. Make your video and then schedule it to upload on Wednesday, December 16th at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. On that day, day, I will also upload a $5 dinner video at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and in the description box of my video, there will be a link to a playlist where you can add your $5 dinner video. I did a few of these when my channel was first starting out, and I felt like it was a really great opportunity to get my channel in front of a bigger audience. Plus, that will be the week before Christmas, and I feel like some of us will be looking for some really easy, inexpensive dinner ideas, especially as we save for and prepare for that big holiday dinner that a lot of us will be preparing. I'm so excited to be doing this. Leave me a comment below if you plan on participating, and don't forget to come back to my channel on Wednesday, December 16th at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and add your $5 dinner video to the playlist. All right, you guys, that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be sure to check in again with another video very soon. Bye.